Hello, beautifuls. How are you doing? All right, you guys. So there's a lot of potent energy, a lot of breakthrough energy, a lot of breaking down energy. And I haven't been on in a little while, and I felt this really strong urge to come on and do a reading today. So I hope that you guys are into the energies right now and really going, okay, this is a wild ride. What is going on? I do have a fair bit of channeling to start with today and just kind of musing about the energies that are going on. I feel like I was in a major kind of trial and initiation phase. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? That I just came through. And so I wanted to touch base and check in with you guys and see where you are at as well. So what I just experienced was kind of like a upheaval or storm energy of everything coming up to the surface to be dealt with that I was suppressing or thought I had dealt with and really hadn't. So I had a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and this stems back from recent months or years, but it also goes back to my relationship with my parents and what they modeled for me and how I have acted and been in my relationships, all of them. So friends, family, lovers, romantic partners, etc. Everything came kind of up to the surface. And it did take me by surprise because I have been working really hard on introspecting, looking at things from different angles, taking the other person's perspective into consideration, looking at my part to play, taking accountability, and then trying to move forward with that, or I should say moving forward with that. There's been a lot of really dark energies. And what I feel like is because it's coming to this pinnacle point where many things are aligning. So, and it was just 222 on the timestamp there. So not only are you transitioning to a new phase within your own self, your own path, you're transitioning into a new phase where you're going to be meeting soulmates, twin flame partners, friends, tribe, people who are really in alignment and willing and ready and committed to going where you're headed. So if you have a commitment and you have a life path to bring something out to the world, to move forward with a sense of passionate purpose, and you know what that is for you, but something that only you can bring forth from your experiences, from your relationships, from your friendships, from places you've traveled, people you've met. Only you can bring that experience through because you are unique in that experience. So not only do we have this huge pinnacle point happening in your own life, other people are hitting this pinnacle point as well. And I feel like Spirit is working on that divine timing, that miraculous timing in terms of how everything is going to fit together. And that's also something that I had been distracted by. So I got really distracted by my own intuition. And what I mean by that is sometimes when you have insight, psychic capabilities, abilities, you can get a little bit caught up in what you see. Now, you might know inherently that there's divine timing, that there's free will, that there's a myriad of different things, situations, circumstances that can change the outcome of what you might see for yourself. And you're not in control of that outcome. So the messages come to you for a reason. But if you allow yourself to get attached to them, then it can cause distractions for you. And that distraction can become a block if you allow negative energies to fester around it. And negative energies can include impatience. So say I get a message through a dream or an animal totem or even, a series of synchronicities. And I'm like, okay, awesome. I'm excited. And then, a week goes by, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe, a couple months. And then nothing happens and you're kind of going, well, all right. I still feel this energy, or I still see these messages pointing in this direction. And you can go through that kind of loop cycle between the Fool and the Master of, okay, like, what am I creating here, and what is kind of divine and meant to be? Then, in addition to that, once you attach, you are putting an outcome in mind, you're putting in a timeline, and then unfortunately it can unravel from there. So you do yourself a disservice if you attach too much to even your own intuitions. And so it's really good just to be indifferent about them and go into that non-attachment and non-judgment phase of yourself and others. So these completion cycles can bring up a lot of pain. So you can feel this pain in your body. You could feel it in your heart, depending on what you're focused on right now. Say you're focused on wanting a new relationship or being open to a relationship in general, and you're feeling blocked and stagnant. So you go onto a dating site and it just feels gross. You're not interested. There's no one interesting you. And you're going, see, there's nothing. And then this negative cycle kind of just starts up. It's like a little seed, goes boop. And then the expectation is negative, and then it feeds into a negative expectation cycle and or loop that you have for yourself based on that pain that's holding you back, because it's fear and pain kind of connected in together that are creating this resistance to moving forward. And when we're looking back, that's where the pain came from, because the pain hasn't come from the future. I mean, I'm not sure how you live your life, but I don't often go, oh, this pain is from the future. This is, you know, I don't want to go there because this pain is from the future. No, it's a past version of myself that has experienced something traumatic, something that didn't go my way. Could be rejection, could be abandonment, could be attachment, so fear of commitment for some people. And because we're evolving, we're growing, we're shedding this old version of ourselves, we also need to let go of the pain from the past. And I feel like for myself, and you guys will go through this on your own cycle, I just came through this huge, like, birthing energy of coming through a lot of pain that I didn't know if I was going to get through. I was thinking to myself, and I do go through on and off cycles of not wanting to be here on Earth, not wanting to stick around. So you could call that suicidal tendencies, but I also kind of think of it as divine discontent. There's a level of boredom, or there was a level of expectation in my communion with spirit and or my connection with what I perceive as something greater than myself didn't go the way I thought it would, or just things didn't look like they were adding up in my mind. And so there's this awareness in my spirit and in my heart that's going through this pain and looking back at the past and looking at my present and going, where am I? And what is this? And if this is the best, then that doesn't bode well. So you can have that level of pain, which turns into, you know, a dance with fear, which becomes a distraction, which then can become a block if we keep on feeding that distraction. And a distraction could be a person too. This could be what you consider a karmic partner. You know, you could choose to do your healing, or you can take the karmic partner route where you're also learning, you're also healing, but you're getting karma basically by choosing that, because it is a distraction. But we're always led back to this point in which we were always destined to be, in a sense, or I like to think so anyways, that there is some divine law or divine order in the world that isn't just based on our egotistic wants, desires. So this is about the long haul, not about that instant gratification either. And that's something that our previous cycle just kind of showed us. What happens when you go for the short-term gratification? What happens when you don't watch out for who you let into your life and how much value you give them over yourself, and where your boundaries are at, what you will settle for, how you value yourself, what your self-worth looks like, how you want to proceed in your life with integrity, or are you not wanting to take accountability and move forward with that energy? It's all going to be different. George might bark here because someone just came down the driveway, but hopefully it's not too rattling for you. So as you can tell, I'm a bit amped up because when you're in that pain, it's suffering, right? Nobody likes to be there. And then like I said, you start to look through that lens. We all know that. So it's not about the dark lens. It's not about the rose-colored glasses. It's about figuring out what your reality actually is. And it just had 11:11 on the timestamp. We have a lot of twin flame energy right now, soulmate energy, karmic energy. Karmic contracts are ending. They're crashing and burning. You will probably see a lot of relationship turnover because we're coming up into the energy of Libra for the full moon, which is about balance and justice. So if you think about it, if you're trying to stay where you've always been, the universe is going to kick you right out of there. So if you're trying to hold on to karmic, this would be a relationship you know isn't really good for you or the other person, but you're just staying for the sex, or you're just tired. You don't want to put the effort into ending it, or you don't want to hurt somebody. There's a lot of excuses that people can use. Either you're going to move forward in that intuition and that heart space on that one, or the universe is going to do it for you. And that's probably already started to happen here. The reason for that is because there's soulmates, there's closure between soulmates, there's new beginnings with soulmates, and the same goes for twin flames. There's a lot of balancing energy, closure energy between twin flames. And that's because there's this healing of the codependency energy. There's this healing of someone who takes too much or gives too much. And coming into a balance within yourself with that is assisting the whole world in coming into balance, but also that partnership reflection of being two individuals doing your own thing, competing, having that conflict, now actually going, okay, dropping the swords, having healthy boundaries, recognizing what was mine, what was not, taking accountability and committing to a better version of self. That becomes a partnership. You move forward with that. That can be energetically 5D, or maybe it is in the physical, who knows? You can also have a closure energy with your twin and then move into a really fantastic, beautiful energy with a soulmate. Now, I won't dive too deeply into that, but you and your twin are working on what is the highest and best for both of you in the 5D and the 3D. This brings us to another point of the channel, is merging the 5D and the 3D. So you work on your manifestation. The idea of manifestation is you bring energy into form. So I go, I want a, Mercedes convertible. And I put this out into the universe, and lo and behold, after hard work, taking action, maybe prayer, working on an abundance mindset, talking to, people who love vehicles and how would you go about doing this, or putting it out there on the web, hey, looking for a Mercedes convertible for $1. I've always wanted to buy a car for $1, like a new, hot, super awesome car for $1. Anyway, so I put that out into the universe, and then boom, there's my Mercedes. Or someone's like, you know what? I have an extra $5 million, and I'm kind of entertained by this thought of you wanting a car for $1. So that's what I'm going to do. and I'm going to gift you this Mercedes convertible. So that comes into your life, and there it is. It's manifested. It's harder to do with people because they have free will. There's destiny, there's contracts, there's divine timing, and all of that. But you can still set yourself up for being open and ready to receive and to give. So in that regard, we're a little bit in the Fool energy of learning how to manifest consciously rather than still pulling from that subconscious. So that subconscious energy that I'm referring to would be like, you're ready to rock and roll, jump into a new relationship, you think you're all healed and everything, and your subconscious is going, I'm not available, so I'm going to pull in someone that's like super available, and I'm going to fly out the door as soon as this starts to go well. The old tendencies to draw in your kind of opposite, we're dropping those. So now you have to consciously manifest that equal partnership, recognizing that you don't have a lot of control over what comes your way, that the best way is actually to let go of control and to really focus on yourself and who you are. So for this one, it's like, if you were looking for justice in a situation, is there justice within you? You know, if you're looking for balance, is there balance within you? Were you hoping someone else would gain a new perspective? Have you gained a new perspective for yourself? So come back to yourself. Keep coming back to yourself. And especially if you come into this energy of blame, and that's something that comes up if you suppress your emotions. You can have these big energies of, oh, you know, it was this person, or it was my parents, or, oh, and you just, yeah, you know, you have that energy where you want to just project it out because you're so uncomfortable with what your life looks like. Or usually it's a feeling of powerlessness. You get to a point where you feel powerless. And when you feel powerless, that's when you want to offload things to other people. And that makes sense because you don't feel like you can take conscious action to help yourself. So that's where you can actually physically ask for help. You can go to a therapist, you can talk to a friend. But at the same time, when you see yourself blaming, and if you're observing that in yourself, you can slowly come back and go, okay, I have some repressed emotions here that need out. And if I'm negatively thinking about that, I had a session with a good friend, and she told me, I said, you know, I don't feel like I have anywhere for my anger to go. I'm in Aries. I usually use my anger as a tool. I love my anger. My anger shows me that something's not right because I'm also very emotional too, very tapped in, much more balanced than I used to be. But this time around, I was like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I don't want to blame people. I don't want to do any more introspection. Like, I am done. But I still had this anger. Like, why am I in this position? Why did this person get that? Or why did this happen the way it did? Or, you know what it is for you. It's that reel that starts playing if something doesn't go your way, and or you can't see or control the road or the path ahead. So when I got, was bumped into that energy, she kindly just said, well, like, that's a very dangerous statement to make. How about dancing? How about writing? How about painting? Like, get that anger out. Because of course we know that if anger isn't transmuted and utilized in a healthy way, then it can become dangerous to others, because we can hurt people when we're angry, because usually you're reactive. And so that's a very volatile energy to bring forward. So I feel like for me, if you guys are there, I've just kind of broken through that with some solitude, some quiet, That means I wasn't listening to tarot readings. I wasn't watching like violent TV shows, because I had started to watch a couple shows and I was like, oh, well, there's actually still a fair bit of violence in this, even though it's not like a very violent show. In theory, like I think it was The Coroner or something. But it was starting to pop up in my dreams. I was seeing people get stabbed and just different things like that. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to take a step back here, cleanse out the old energy. Even though I don't want to look deeper, I don't want to do any more work, I'm just going to kind of sit quietly and see what happens. Now, because I'm very in tune with spirit, I did actually have quite a bit of energy come through to help me through this situation. So I feel like there is help for you guys too. And don't hesitate to ask for it with who you're comfortable with, whether that is, someone you trust. It's either, a higher power than you, or it's a therapist or someone, like I said, that takes their role of authority seriously and will be able to understand you on multiple levels. Or it could be a spiritual advisor, etc. But ask for help from your ancestors to help you get through this, help you let go of the pain of the past so that you can move forward free. You can liberate yourself. You don't have to wait on anybody else. You can liberate yourself from the past. And it might be scary to do that. I was saying to my friend, who I also divulged quite a bit to in the last couple days, I was saying, you know what? I have this love for this person, and I feel like that love I want to keep. This is like my twin flame that I'm referring to, or that energy or the concept. But I also don't want to feel held back or bound or in bondage to anybody or anything, energetically or otherwise. Now, I've done a lot of work and I feel free. I feel this energy of freedom. But then, like I said, I still had suppressed quite a bit of emotions that I was never able to actually communicate properly. And usually I'm a fairly good communicator. However, I do realize that I also hide my emotions sometimes. So it's kind of hard to get a read on me, even though I know how to articulate my emotions really well when I decide to do so. So just take care, be tender with yourself right now as you move into this next phase. And I'll kind of come right back to what I was referring to. I was kind of afraid to let go because I didn't think I could love that person or hold that love and truly move forward, truly move on. And what I mean by that is move on from the pain of the situation, or the pain of the rejection, or the pain of what felt like betrayal or loss. And just be happy again, be lighthearted again, and believe that a better situation is on the way, that I am changed because of that relationship, because of the growth, because of the dynamics, and that, you don't have to pretend to be in a forgiving place when you're not. And as soon as you realize you're not, it's okay. You're still healing. You take the time that you need to heal and move forward. Everything that's meant for you is going to meet you where you're going. We're not all on the same time frame here in terms of what we've experienced, the tools and resources that we have to move forward with really challenging trials on our life path. If you guys are masters, if you are intuitives, you are being initiated. And I was listening to this really neat kind of perspective this morning on that idea, because we can talk about like good and evil, or the devil and God, this energy of the duality of earth that we have. Usually it's tit for tat. Like you have yin yang and, night and day. We know this. We know that there's a huge aspect and element of duality and this kind of overarching concept of unity consciousness that creates. And to give you guys an idea, so you can get energies attached to you, obviously. If you go into a grocery store and someone's yelling, or you bump into someone and they're horrible and you pick that up, or you're connected to someone energetically because it's for your highest and best good. But in that moment, they're experiencing a tower moment or something's not right. And then you pick up on that. And 5D, everything's cool. You guys are monitoring things and making sure that it comes back into balance, but you're off for some reason. Okay, fine. You see something on TV, like I said, violent. You go to sleep, you have a violent dream, and then you're going, huh. These energies can attach to you. You can get kind of darker energies. You can get, stuck in a time loop of your own creation or someone else's. But the other thing is, we learn through mastery of challenge. Suffering is a part of life, okay? We don't just go through life with no suffering. Nobody does. No animal does. If we think about most things, there's a possibility of suffering. Now, we don't need to stay there, and we can choose to attach to that suffering however we like. But the example that was given this morning was thinking about, I'm just going to grab a sip of water if you guys need to do the same. And I will get to cards. I told you it was going to be a fairly big channel because there's a lot of messages to come through. I am also working on not hiding my wisdom from you guys. I have a lot that I can share. I just have trouble trying to find meaningful ways to bring that sacred knowledge forward. So coming back to the example of not only triggers but distractions, like they're making me come back. So if you are learning how to shoot a firearm, and okay, it's silent, you're focused, and okay, boom, awesome, you hit the target, great, cool. Now you're like, I'm rocking. Okay, so now put some sirens on. Woo! All right. Okay, now. Okay, so you're a little bit off. Maybe your shot's a little bit off. Okay, now in addition to sirens, there's people screaming. Cool. All right. So how is your shot then? Then you have a drill sergeant in your ear. Now he or she is screaming at you. You're not good enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. How is your aim doing? So anyways, so just as a quick example, I feel like that's what spirit, that's how our lessons work sometimes. If you are coming into an up level, right, where you're like, oh, I'm done with this old self, or codependence, or I don't want to be restrained from fear, or, you know, you can't see the road ahead. So you're like, I don't want to go at all. I've been there. But instead you go, okay, I'm going to relinquish control. I surrender. And you're not only saying it, you're resonating with it, you're embodying it, you're in it. Boom, you're moving to the next level. So but before that happens, you're going through a few phases of trial, going, is he or she ready? 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 Trial, 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 trial. And then you yourself are acknowledging how you're actually doing. Ooh, okay. There's that repressed anger. Okay, I didn't really forgive that person. I thought I did. Or, wow, I'm still actually a little bit rude to myself. Or, wow, I actually did change my perspective. I am doing a lot better. I see that I treated someone wrong in the past. Or, wow, like my belief led me to self-sabotage myself. Whoa, right? Like there's some energies here that are so colossal. They will change the rest of your life. So we're dealing with the big kahunas here. This isn't like tricks are for kids. Even though that being said, it is challenging to be a fool. It is challenging to master certain energies and then become a fool again, right? Because then the ego is still going, yes, but I'd like to be a master of my trade, or the best of the best, or whatnot. And so we still have to quiet that and go, I know what I'm here for. You know, spiritual evolution. I'm here for growth. I'm here for balance. I am here for mastery. So, rest, play, there is no map. Okay, that was the old version of yourself. You had a map before, now you don't. You're using your intuition. You're using all of your senses in the 3D, and you're merging them together. You're creating the union of 3D and 5D because you're learning how to use your intuition and then put it into action. And I talked about that briefly before, but whoa, is it ever different when you're into the trial or initiation phase and going, whoa, like part of this is really up to me to pull it in, to embody, to align, and to stay calm and to stay peaceful. So practice non-attachment to that intuitive knowing, but still pay attention to it and take action based on it. I think we're pretty close to finishing off the notes that I have. One of the other ones that I just want to bring up that I had kind of like an aha moment. I don't know if you guys believe in reincarnation or past lives, but this is the level of which we are moving from one cycle to another. So the world completion, a phase of you is dead and gone or in the death throes right now. And there's this beautiful rebirth occurring where you are blooming and blossoming into a new self, and all your manifestations that are resonating at that level are here for you. The thing that kind of got me is someone said, your past lives now include your past in this life. And I'm like, oh, boom, right? And I don't know if that hits you guys the same. But when I heard that this morning, and I was really doing my kind of just quiet introspection, I was thinking, whoa, I know I have died multiple times in this lifetime in terms of my spiritual work and accomplishments and just mastery of certain things. I feel like I've died like 10 times over in this life and then rebirthed and come out, the Phoenix energies. This time is different. It's not the same as a Phoenix energy. That's not quite touching the scope of what's happening here. So you do have a past life now. The past that you have lived in this lifetime as you is now a past life for you. So begin to really look ahead. Begin to honor who you are and who the people and I was going to say players, but I don't want to say players. Participants, guides, friends, connections, soulmates, lovers. Really, if you can, I hope you get there too, because for some reason, I did ask for help. I asked for help from anybody and everybody of my highest good to assist me at this time. Hi, Jocelyn. So I hope you guys do too. And I hope that, if there is any darkness or heaviness or fear and limiting beliefs in your heart still, and you're just in motion of purging those and moving forward, I wish you good luck. And I am here supporting you because it feels really good to just kind of pop out the other side. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to hit more turbulence or anything like that, but it does feel really good to actually have that like peace in your heart and just go, okay, like I understand the bigger vision and I'm willing to trust and move forward again, even though it was really painful. Like it was a lot of challenge. I didn't think I was going to get through it, but I did. And here I am, and I'm ready and open and willing and committed to moving forward. And I do believe that this life is filled with magic. And so if you're in a place where you're starting to think, there's no magic left in the world, just view that as temporary. I'm temporarily in this viewpoint, and spirit will come through for you, where you'll come through for yourself. Okay, so let me know if you've been listening, if that resonates with you. If you want to bring up anything that you are personally going through that like is in relation to what I was just talking about, we can talk about it a little bit here. But I'm going to pull some cards and see if there's any messages from spirit, any guidance from our ancestors, loved ones, archangels, soulmates, twin flames, those who are on our path for the highest and best good. And really, there's a beautiful energy surrounding this. It's a very protected energy. So we'll just kind of see what messages are coming through, because so many of us are on a similar path, similar journey. We may even align and cross paths. But many of us are going through some of these stages just in different timing. So whenever you find yourself here, this is when you are meant to see this video. And to my fellow Aries, happy Aries season. My birthday's coming up. I'm turning 37. I've never freaked out before. And I think this is the only year I've ever been like, I'm turning 37. So I'm having that little mini crisis, but I am excited. It's a good one. It resonates to number 10. So it's, a new beginning as well. So I might do these. Actually, no, I am gonna. This morning's card pull on IG, if you don't follow me there already, is Mollie Kindred. We had manifested lover. So we are manifesting somebody special in our life, or you have already manifested them. So just know that's part of this big change, this big shift is, that the people who are meant to be in your life at this time, they're here, right? It's just about balancing. It's just about timing. Spirit and our guides really want this to land properly with the strong foundation, with you in alignment, with you in peace, with you in integrity, and having that clarity, not being in that confusion of the past. So let's get a couple messages from anybody that wants to say something to you, but just is having trouble, or you know what, if they're blocked right now, they're blocked for a reason, because they have to come in right. You have to come in right for others right now if they're meant to be on your path, or vice versa, and that other person has to come in right too. So if they're not, Spirit's just going to block, because that's probably part of the protection and boundary you've put up. It's like, you see my value, you know my worth. I'm not going to settle. You treat me with respect, or toodaloo, motherfucker, right? So let's see what we've got here. I haven't used Call Up and Read 7 Energies of the Oracle. I haven't totally, I don't know if I jive with it, but I do really like the poppy colors, and for some reason today, this card deck really jumped out. So we have Wish Upon a Star as our first card. This is really beautiful, and we see that heart chakra medicine again. I think pairing up with the solar plexus chakra, we have a yellow star here, right? So making sure that we're empowered in the heart, and clearing that pain really helps us empower that heart energy, because it can be really blocked and heavy on the heart, obviously, when we have heartache or rejection or resentment sitting there. So 12, so 3, resonating to number 3. We also have this energy of the angel wings here below. And I'm just going to read Colette's write up on this and see what she has to say. So we have intentions based on your desires and aspirations, the act of consciously committing to a vision, sacrificing something of value, gambling on yourself, trusting that dreams can become reality, and the importance of daydreams. So yes, don't give up on them. Even if it's dark and ugly and gruesome, don't give up on them. Do you believe your dreams can become real, or do you shrug them off and chide yourself for being unrealistic? What if you could trust that the world around you holds promise you have not yet realized? Perhaps the point all along is not how something can happen, but the power of wishing and intending. We humans have multiple ways to ritualize owning a dream we want to see manifest in physical form. Haha, this is awesome. Think of a wishing well. You infuse a coin with your intention, tuning into the feeling of having a particular experience. Tossing the coin into the well symbolizes the act of letting the how go, walking away, and allowing the universe to do its part in the co-creative partnership. That is so key. And that's what I was kind of referencing too about the attachment to the intuition coming through. It's like that's spirit's message to you. But just as you let go of the coin going into the wishing well, you're also being asked to let go of spirit's coin coming into you, which is the messages, the intuition that you're getting. It's steering you in a direction. It's helping you understand for some reason. It's helping you prepare, but also continue to let go. Stay in observation. Stay in that observation mode. Another method is to wish upon a star. In doing so, you also look back to our origins, for we are made of stardust. That's another energy, you guys. If you are feeling so low, call out to the stars. Call out to the star systems in which you may or may not be connected to, any starseed alliances. Definitely call in that energy. Today, allow yourself to dream and play with different realities. Even if it seems impossible, if it calls you and feels good, why not choose it? Wish upon a star, then live as if your wish were already true. Know that those beautiful dreams you have been nurturing are in the process of becoming real. Don't forget that the act of wishing, dreaming, intending is more important than figuring out the how. That's something that also got me into my distracted energy and brought me down, was I wanted to figure out why, and I really got stuck in my head, and I was like, okay, can I find these answers? If you're not going to bring them to me, you're saying that they're here, you're saying clarity is coming, so I don't want to just sit on my ass and do nothing, so I guess I'm going to take some action. Well, yeah. As soon as you go up into your mind and start doing the real, and then you disconnect from your heart, and then you disconnect from spirit, you're on your own, partner. It's, you have to wait until you're ready to come back into that knowing energy instead of questioning and in chaos and confusion. So it shows the universe you're serious about playing the game of life, and you trust the essence of the partnership. Remember, every dream you believe in and hope for is a call to a twinkling star. The answer will come, sometimes swiftly, sometimes slowly. No wish is ever wasted. No love is ever wasted either, right? So just know, nothing that you have ever put out there into the universe has been wasted, okay? Even if it feels like it sometimes. So to clarify that from my Galactic Goth Oracle, we have Goddess of the Underworld. So yes, we really have been busy excavating and opening up that heart, really honoring our energy of darkness. I had a Lilith energy come up. You might have a little Kali energy coming up. Hecate, like you might have some of the really dark goddess energies coming up. And that's beautiful. That's great, because a lot of those goddesses, they embody owning your shadow, owning it, not being afraid of the darkness, not being afraid to make wishes, not being afraid to let it go, right? Here's George. Hey, bud. Saying hi. So we really are, as we're wishing upon a star, as we are going back to the roots of stardust, and dreaming, and really remember the dreaming. You can dream and be a badass, right? Like it's even more badass to dream after you've been through hell and back, right? And that's, is it a play on words? I don't think so. So, you are learning to live. You're learning to live again. And this is really, really exciting, because when you have that energy of wish upon the star, you're also going, okay, I'm trusting the universe again. We're building our relationship again. This is a trust building exercise, and I'm recommitting, I'm refocusing on this energy of this connection to spirit, and that energy of love being everywhere in everything, and also calling that in form in terms of like a soulmate or a partner, right? If that's what you're doing. So, ooh, hello. We have, these are great cards for today. So 45, resonating to number 9, beyond the ordinary. Wow. Look at all the galaxy energy in there. We also have the solar plexus chakra coming up again. So it's really tied into the heart chakra right now, feeling empowered as we move forward. So I'm going to read this one again, once again, beyond the ordinary. I don't always read from the book, but today I feel like doing so. Key concepts: the mystical, ineffable part of life, trusting in the invisible world without understanding it, right? No. Connecting with your crown chakra, connecting with your third eye. You don't need to know the why, the how, the what. It's our ego that really wants that information because it acts as a form of control, right? You think if you can control something, you can manipulate it. Well, we don't need to manipulate this energy. It's vibrating so high, and it is for our highest and best. We have already created it from the embodiment of an aligned version of ourselves, so we can let it go. So recognizing that some things cannot be known in advance and are not meant to be grasped intellectually. The awareness that everything is as it should be, even if it doesn't make sense. And that's totally where I'm at. I'm like looking around, I'm like, whoa, I made some epic decisions, like took some epic risks, had this really strong feeling, a lot of intuitions coming through, psychic information, dream space, astral projection. And it's like, whoa, okay. Even with all that information, I still don't get it. Like the puzzle pieces aren't all there. I just kind of see a loose vision of, okay, sure, here we go. So this is totally just reaffirming everything that I was talking about in the channel as well. So beyond our ordinary worlds defined by our memory, our intellect, and our 5 senses is a mystical realm of beauty, magic, and extraordinary potential. This is the spiritual realm, the quantum reality, called by some the great mystery. This place doesn't operate under the same laws we're used to, but rather has its own way of working that is perfect, though hard for us to understand. When you want to know what is to come, the nature of something, or where you're heading, it's natural to turn to a trusted oracle and expect some kind of answer that will inform your view of how things are, might be, or should be. Sometimes this is not possible. I'm just going to quickly take a moment here to say, if you watch, say, my reading, and then you watch another reading, and another reading, and another reading, and they're all saying the same thing to you, it's kind of a signal. Like you might get a tiny bit of information like extra in one reading, but they're saying we're not going to give you the answers because they're not ready to be given yet. Like they're still in process, and that is taking away from the divine mystery. So sometimes this is not possible because the elements cannot be named or are not in place yet. Things may still be in flux. So you cannot know and may never be meant to know. No matter how hard you try to understand why something happened or how or when it will happen, now is the time to surrender to not knowing. So it's like investing in the not knowing instead of the knowing. The mystery is a mystery because it is at present unknowable and as yet unmade. Even its potential is impossible to understand. What is waiting for you lies beyond the ordinary, but it has not yet chosen its shape, its path, and the manner by which it will be delivered. Your job is to stay the course, allowing whatever comes to be exactly as it will, without trying to ascertain anything in advance. Whoa! Hello! So, anything in excess can be a block for us, right? It can cause us to go off balance. So, if you've really been diving into a lot of tarot readings and such, maybe it's time to take a little bit of a break. It could be a day, it could be 2 days, could be a week for you. See what feels right. And then that makes you tune back into your energies. If you're still obsessing or spying on someone, or, have that energy of like, I need to know, I want to know, step back, focus on yourself, find something else to dedicate your energy towards. So let's see what we have for clarifying beyond the ordinary. Learn. So yeah, take time. Take time out for yourself. Go find a book. Could be like an oldie but a goodie. Could be a new author you've never checked out before. It could be a new modality that you want to practice or learn. So this could be yoga, Ayurveda. Could be something about your health, your diet, anything here that you want to learn. Hobby, right? So this is kind of like going back to the books, just being okay learning again, being okay in that energy of receptivity, and allowing new energy to flow to you, right? In the old energies, you might have felt like overwhelmed, done, stuffed up, like, no room. But now you've created room. It's okay to learn again. And just also, you can learn about what's beyond the ordinary. You could learn about the mystery. You could look into some esoteric wisdom. Like you could pick up some spiritual teachings and just see what happens, see where that leads you. So we have one more line here and then a couple more cards. Just to remember, guys, if you want to support the channel, feel free to subscribe if you feel called to do so. If you can, give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying the video. That just helps me gain traction, the video gain traction on YouTube, so that I can share my message to more people. I am just in the stage of building up this channel, right? So if you can go ahead and give me a thumbs up, that would be amazing. You can find all the details for booking private sessions. I am doing private sessions at this time. You can look at the details for booking below. And I do have a special on right now. It's $100 Canadian for 90 minutes. That's going to be ending at the end of the month. So you guys have a little bit of time to book in if that's something you're interested in. And if you want to donate to the channel in any way, of course, there's a donation button below as well through PayPal. You can just go through the link there. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Let's see what our future line has in store. Or should we just leave it? JK. All right, so this is so funny, you guys. This is hilarious. You're going to laugh. Let it go. Sorry, that wasn't the best. But resonating to the number 6, which is the number of the devil, the number of the lovers, whatever is, any pain in your heart, any confusion, uncertainty, chaos, do your absolute best to bring it up, look at it, let it go, continue to let it go, continue to purge, continue to heal. Just be exactly where you are. You don't need to be somewhere else, Exactly, Jocelyn, right? And what's beautiful here is it's a card of letting go, but we have 2 hummingbirds and they're wrapping this heart in a bow. It's so beautiful, right? Like they always say before the most beautiful things come into your life is when you've let go of an idea of yourself, when you let go of a belief that it can't happen as good as you think it might. Let it go. Let your limiting beliefs go. Whether it's you're not lovable, or you can't be in a relationship, or no one wants you, or whatever it is, let it go. Okay? It's time for a new version of you to thrive and live a life of love, a lightheartedness. It's time to reconnect with love. We've been in fear for so long. We've built up a lot. And now it's a huge purge. It's a huge release. Continue to let it go, because there's some really amazing things coming ahead for you. Really beautiful dreams you manifested when you were in your alignment, when you were in your intention embodying that true self, right? So there's this beautiful energy of let it go. Let's read what Colette has in her write-up for this. Forgiveness. That's probably why I was talking about this. You can never force yourself to forgive someone or a situation. It has to come naturally. So if you're not there yet, you're not there yet. You don't have to push yourself. I feel like I was having a little bit of like perfectionism or competition energies, like wanting to be further ahead in my healing than I was, but that's okay, right? I just needed to take a step back and go, it's okay. I'm where I am. I've been through a lot in my lifetime, and I don't need to push myself in this. I really don't. So forgiveness, healing resentments. Oh, we talked about that. Shedding the role of the eternal martyr, letting go of victimhood, cutting the ties that bind you to a destructive story, releasing pain. How perfect is this, you guys? Literally. All right. So where was I? Okay. Cutting the ties that bind you to a destructive story, releasing pain so you can move into the lesson it offers, relinquishing the need to be right or to know why. There are times in life when you must forgive, lest you become a hostage to your anger. Okay, you guys, if you're watching from the beginning, I talked a lot about anger coming up in the beginning of this message. So if you are catching this midway and that resonates with you, you could go back and catch the beginning. There are times in life when you must forgive, lest you become a hostage to your anger, frustration, disappointments, and resentments. This is not about condoning bad behavior or minimizing a hurt done to you. Forgiveness is simply a commitment to stop telling an old story so you don't carry its burden anymore. And that is kind of what I pictured. I had a visualization of taking like barbed wire out of my heart, because I had been healing this whole time, but really I still had these shards in there. And that's why, right? They're still there. I'm still carrying them with me, the pain, these words, things people said that really affected me. And so I did a visualization of just taking out those barbs and just doing like a little poultice or energy treatment on my heart, and just nurturing. Okay, here's love, here's warmth, here's affection, here's loyalty, here's commitment, here's honesty. Like, these are the things I want to give you, and I will protect you better in the future as well. And so forgiveness for myself as well, and not protecting and valuing myself to the degree in which some of these situations evolved to have me feeling really hurt. So forgiveness is simply a commitment to stop telling an old story so you don't carry its burden anymore. So when you stop going back to the pain, you're stopping the story, essentially, right? If you don't forgive, old hurts fester and become distorted, causing you pain over and over again. You become trapped in a prison of your own making, because technically speaking, most likely the person, the situation, the job, the home isn't causing you the pain anymore. It's in your memory, it's in your trauma stores, it's in your body, your physical body, your energetic body is holding that. So if you can continue to release and let go, then you're not carrying that story forward in your body and in your subconscious. It's time to cut the invisible cords attaching you to the situation and preventing you from moving forward. And for me, some of this was just going, okay, I took on your pain from childhood, your pain from what your parents did to you, your pain from what an ex-lover did to you. Okay, not me. I didn't do that. You put that on me. That's your pain, right? And so just as you might have done this to someone else, you might have put your pain on someone. They can send that back to you. That is yours to deal with. That is yours to reconcile. So if you're carrying pain from other people, we know where some cruelty comes from. We know where her angry words come from. Hurt, misunderstanding, immaturity, incapability, right? So there's a lot of room here to cultivate forgiveness. There really is. It's just a part of that can also be giving back what's not yours, what you took on, right? give it back. That's their energy to handle. It's not yours. You don't need to take that burden on. You don't need to continue carrying it forward. And that is part of the martyr energy, right? It's I can handle this. I'm strong. I can do that. It's not yours. You're enabling other people to not do their work if you're going to keep carrying that forward. Spirit's saying, here's the stop. It's really clear. This is a stop sign. Let go of anything you don't want to take forward with you, because we're heading to a new destination. You don't even have a ticket because you don't even know where you're going. But Spirit does, like that, magic conductor does. So let it go. Maybe there's not even anywhere to store your baggage, right? Maybe you really do have to move forward. So crystal clear, usually what I do is I just recognize where I've taken on someone's words or that came from pain. So say someone's parent, so say you're in a relationship and the person's parents is something horrible and cruel to you. And you're going, whoa, like I didn't deserve that. That's unjust. That's unfair. And you go back to that. Say it happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and you still remember these words that someone said to you. Well, those words were built in pain, right? You don't just hurt someone just for fun if you're a healthy individual, right? So that individual was in pain. So if you're playing it over and over and you're going, okay, is that true? You're just taking on their pain. It's not true. Of course it's not. Give it back. That's theirs. So you heal you. Whatever made you say that horrible, cruel thing to me, you heal it. That's not my story. That's not my truth. That is not true. There you go. You don't need to talk to them in person. This is a conversation you're having with yourself. This is an energetic conversation of looking at what you're carrying with you from the past that isn't even yours, right? So, it could be a boss said nothing, or you're worthless, or you're fired, I don't need you. And you thought, oh, wow, I must not really be valuable at all. Maybe they just couldn't handle a person who had leadership qualities and who knew what they wanted and who were very strong and healthy and had healthy boundaries, right? So you never know what the truth is. Only you know what it is for you, like what you brought to the table. That's all you have to reconcile, is what you brought to the table. So now is the time for radical forgiveness. Say no to drama in all forms and forgive yourself and others for engaging in it in the past. Consider the ancient Hawaiian practice known as ho'oponopono. This simple prayer is a beautiful way to begin the process of forgiveness, or even come back to it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It's based on the idea that we are all responsible for the reality we see in the world. If something is awry, whether it's your perception, your emotional reactions, your judgment, and so forth, it's up to you to clean it up, right? So it's just reminding you, you're only responsible for what you bring forward. Forgiveness is the key to a liberated and meaningful life. No matter what method you choose, just do it. Let go. So that was awesome. So let's see what we have clarifying that. Courageous heart. I love this. So once again, this bottom one is my Galactic Goth Oracle. So it's one of my favorite cards. It's courageous heart. You've been through so much. You've lived so much. You've learned so many lessons. You've loved. You've crashed and burned. You've succeeded, right? Like you just keep diving deeper and deeper into this beautiful mystery. And, you are to be celebrated. Your heart is to be celebrated. You are beautiful. You are magnificent. Okay? There's a lot that you can still explore. There's a lot of information. Just think about how far you've come in the past 5 years, the past 10 years, the past year on its own. think about how far you've come and what could possibly be in store for you in terms of your dreaming, right? It's not all meant to be suffering. It's not all meant to be out of balance. If you've had a really tricky 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, believe that the balance will come. Believe that's what you're stepping into and begin to manifest that. So use this courageous heart to let it go. What is for you is for you. If you're working on manifesting something that isn't for you, Spirit will just give you something that is close to your manifestation that is undefined, right? And that's why we usually work with manifestations and not saying, this is exactly who I need, or this is exactly what I need. So go back to my Mercedes example. Maybe it's just a hot convertible sports car, and it doesn't have to be a Mercedes, right? Like, it's just, there's your example. Stay as, unattached as possible and see the beauty in that. No one's here. He's just going crazy. George. Hey. Doctor, now I'm doing a reading here. Anyways, sorry about that, guys. George, come here. Come here. Quit that yapping. All right. I do have a couple more cards to pull. These are messages from, could be spirit, past over loved ones, could be people here that couldn't say this, could be your higher self to you. I just pulled 3, and then let's go ahead and see. Woo, yes. So some of us have dealt with the narcissist and the empath dynamic. I did bring that up earlier. Someone gave too much, someone took too much, and that's balancing out in the future. It doesn't have to be with that person or that energy. It's balancing it out because you have brought awareness to it within yourself. Whichever one was out of balance for you, you're bringing it back into balance. So if you gave too much before, now you know it has to be give and receive. So this one says, I'm a narcissist because my childhood trauma taught me to fear love. It's not your fault. So if you are in a narcissistic or emotionally abusive situation, relationship with someone, or you were emotionally abusive to someone else, this can just mean if you go into that energy of forgiveness, the ho'oponopono, if you go into that energy of pain, your higher self can help you navigate this without closure from the other person. Your higher self can help you. And so I'm not sure why YouTube is restricting some of those comments. Just know that there are a lot of scammers and spammers. And so I do apologize if your message is getting, I guess they're retracted, so you guys are taking them off. But sometimes YouTube does it on purpose. So if that ever happens to you, just know it's just because they're trying to limit people who are just using fake profiles. So this person's childhood trauma taught them to fear love, fear vulnerability, fear attachment. So it wasn't your fault, okay? You have total permission to move forward without carrying that rejection, abandonment, misbehavior, cruelty, any emotionally abusive words, obviously physical abuse as well. It's not yours to hold on to. That is that other person's to reconcile. All right. But they're telling you, they're saying, it was my childhood. Like, I didn't do this on purpose. I'm sorry I hurt you. It's not your fault. Like, do not take what I did to you personally. Please have the capacity that I didn't. Please have the capacity to know that you're beautiful, and I shouldn't have treated you that way. So that's one message for someone out there. This one says, so this is, clearing up loose ends here, helping move forward. I am sorry for lying to you out of my own insecurity and fear around love. This could be the same person. It seems to kind of have a consistent message here. Someone just found it easier to lie to you, either about themselves, like whether they were ready or not for a relationship, whether they were with someone or not at the time you started, maybe a relationship, maybe that was an issue, third party, cheating, lying, just not trustworthy, or anything like that. And part of that is because insecurities, this person, if there's no boundaries and someone shows this person a little bit of attention, they might just, go over that way because that feeds that insecurity, that pit, that void, that they're not lovable, that they're not attractive, that they're not worth, like someone wouldn't want them on the side or something like that. And so it's also a power play. It's also about control. It's about manipulation. So I am sorry. This person is saying, I am sorry for lying to you. Is my fault. Is my insecurity and fear around love. So once again, it's not about you. Someone else lies to you, okay? Someone else cheats on you, that is on them. It is on them. They have to reconcile that energy. They have to reconcile the hurt. Now, the issue being, if we take it back to the reading, it's not your responsibility to take on that pain and keep going with it. If you choose to keep that as your truth, that someone cheated on you because you deserved it, or say someone said something horrible to you and you go, oh, it must be true. That's now on you if you take it on as your own, right? It's your responsibility to protect yourself now, even if that person's not in your sphere, and go, that was not true. That was uncalled for. That was coming from a place of woundedness, insecurity, immaturity, cruelty, right? Like, that is not mine. That is not true. And I don't need to convince anyone of it, as long as I know that is not true. As long as I know that someone was coming from a place of delusion, immaturity, or insecurity, or fear. So final message, oh dear. There's a reason why, if you've distanced yourself from toxic people, good for you. If you've distanced yourself from toxic relationships, family members, jobs, places, good for you. You're right on track. If you're hoping to reconnect with someone, they're saying to you right now, I have a toxic mindset. You're better off distancing yourself right now. So if you're kind of wanting or hoping and wondering if there's someone, you're like, maybe, where are they at? They're not in a good spot right now. Or this could be you telling someone else. Some people do cross watch. But of course, usually that's for, astrological signs, etc. But someone is saying, I'm in a bad spot right now. Like, it's not the best time for us to connect. And if you have put those energetic protections up, like you come in right or you don't come at all, that's why they're not there. Okay. So you are manifesting that as well, right? You're putting the outlines out for yourself. So good job, you guys. I'm not going to do any private card pulls, I don't think, today. I think we'll end it off that. My throat's getting a little bit sore just from talking so much, I guess. We are just over an hour here. So I hope you guys take care. I really hope that these messages resonate with you and help you feel inspired and motivated to keep going. If you're feeling stuck or you are in that impatience and starting to spiral out of control, feeling suicidal or just not wanting to be here, feeling like life's a total drag, I hope that you are able to kind of reconnect, like plug yourself back into the grid and go, okay, this was a huge culmination of multiple lifetimes, multiple energies, huge patterns like codependency, like narcissism, and an empath really, it's a little tricky to throw this in there right at the end, but I don't actually see an empath as better than a narcissist, because both, if you think about it in the way we define it, an empath is someone who gives way too much. A narcissist is someone who takes way too much. They're on the same spectrum. And please don't take this as a classical diagnosis of a narcissistic person, because it can get so brutal that people do kill themselves because of that, the level of emotional abuse and cognitive dissonance that comes from narcissistic people in relationships. So I'm not trying to make light of that. Just in general, in in terms of the words we use, an empath and narcissist, we tend to look at an empath as like, oh, holy empath. No, most empaths have terrible codependency issues, and their sensitivity does allow them to be victimized by people who like to take a lot. So it is this energy of healing that, because if the empath heals themselves, they're taking themselves out of the energy of victimization, and therefore the narcissist doesn't have as much to feed on, so to speak. And so as, highly sensitive people are healing that energy of overgiving, not saying every empath overgives, but it is quite common, then we're also healing the energy of the narcissist, because there's nothing to take, because we're protecting our energy, because we value it, because we know our worth. And perhaps that narcissistic tendency in a person, they're also going, whoa, I do this because I'm terrified of love. I do this because my parent didn't listen to me, didn't protect me, didn't make me feel important. And I felt at a very young age that I had to protect myself, and love was the enemy. Vulnerability was the enemy because it did not serve me, right? So we're not going to go into the psychological ramifications of this. I just did want to point out that when I'm talking about narcissism and empath, particularly for me as a reader, I look at them as very closely linked and related on a spectrum, one at one end and one at the other. So it is both, need to heal the energy because it's off balance. So anyways, take care of yourselves. Treat yourself with respect and kindness and nurturing. Rest. If you need to, take a day off. Listen to your intuition. There's bigger fish to fry here than your 9 to 5. At the moment, you're going through a huge change transition. So please listen if you're guided to take extra time off, or please listen if you're guided to speak to a therapist and or explore things with a spiritual advisor or whatnot. So thank you guys. I hope you have an amazing evening. Love you lots and take care. Ciao for now. Bye.